Hi, as you can see, it's Barney Frank, not in person, unfortunately, but by video. To my bafflement, the House Ethics Committee told me on Tuesday that a trip I had planned, which included a speech to the Commonwealth Club on Friday and attending this dinner on Saturday, didn't justify my flying into San Francisco on Thursday and leaving on Sunday, that I was extending a trip by an extra day and could not accept the reimbursement. Unfortunately, I don't have the funds in my own campaign to pay for this because having announced in November of last year that I wasn't running again, I've stopped raising money, which is, of course, one of the great advantages of not running again. So I have to use a phrase that I will tell you honestly I have used occasionally in the past, but I haven't always meant it with the sincerity I mean it today. I very much regret that I cannot be with you in person, although I am with you not just through the video, but to a great deal in spirit. I've said that before, and I haven't always regretted, to be honest, not being personally attendant at some events. Actually, I will be in a couple of weeks reversing that freeze. I will be attending the lame duck session of Congress after the election, and at that point I plan to be able to say something I'd long wanted to say, namely when I get to the House floor in November. I will be there in person, but not in spirit. In this case, as I said, the traditional form is accurate. I regret it because I was deeply honored to be told that I would be given an award at this dinner. I'm a great admirer of the organization and a deep believer in the need for the kind of social change which the organization, Horizons Foundation, has done so much to bring about. 40 years ago, almost to the day, a couple of months short of it, I filed the first, what we then called gay rights bills in the Massachusetts legislature, the first bills of that sort in the history of Massachusetts. It took 17 years for one of them to become law, and that was too long a period. But we've been making progress more rapidly. I believe we are within reach of abolishing the legal embodiment of prejudice against people who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender. We have work still to do, and no one should ease up. In fact, I think military history suggests that it is precisely when you are on the point of victory that you should redouble your efforts to take advantage of that and not let the opposition regroup. We have been winning on a number of fronts. We haven't won everything we wanted, and I should add that I've never urged anybody to be grateful for the fact that a vicious prejudice that never should have existed in the first place has been diminished. The response to that, when people say, aren't you feeling good that there's less prejudice than there used to be, was best articulated by George Orwell, who of course articulated a number of things very well, when after being shot in the neck during the Spanish Civil War and being told he was lucky to have survived, responded that people who had never been shot in the neck in the first place were even luckier. We would have been lucky, happy, if there had never been such a prejudice. Lives hadn't been blighted. And we must remember, as we make progress, that there are still 15-year-olds all over this country who live in fear that someone will find out who they are and subject them to bullying, to prejudice, and discrimination. We have people in most of the states in this country who are still not protected against an arbitrary firing because other people don't like who it is that they choose to love. So we are on the verge, as I said, of victory, but we will not get it simply by sitting back. I am hopeful that less than a month from now, we will be winning referenda in a number of the states that are going to be voting on marriage equality. I believe the Supreme Court is about ready to throw out the Defense of Marriage Act, and if not, if we get a Democratic House, President, and Senate, which is a very real possibility, we will be able to get rid of DOMA. We will also be able to get rid of the legal right to discriminate based on sexual orientation and gender identity, because I believe the votes are now finally there to pass an Employment Non-Discrimination Act that is fully inclusive, as we did in the last Democratic-controlled Congress with a hate crimes bill that was fully inclusive, including people who are transgender, who are sadly the most frequent victims of violence because of who they are. So I thank you for honoring me. To be honored by an organization for which I have such high esteem means a great deal. And I have what may be my last campaign promise, since I will no longer be in office in a few months. I owe you one. I regret very much that this extraordinarily inaccurate ruling, in my view, by the Ethics Committee kept me from being with you. But I will be available next year when I will be free from Ethics Committee constraints, when I hope to be traveling some, giving lectures and doing other things. So I look forward to coming, if you want me still, next year or at some point in the future, to be with you in person. Since I can't do that at this stage, I simply send you my very sincere regrets, my best wishes for a good dinner, my gratitude for your honoring me, and my deep admiration for the work you do.